Chapter 8 Sweet's Journey. The high of the great howl couldn't last forever, and Sweet was exhausted and aching from her long watch by the time the sky began to pale where the sun-dog would rise. Her leg muscles ached from the fast sprint to find Fiery, and her mind felt stunned by the howl itself. This message had lodged firmly inside her heart and guts. She wouldn't let her pack down now. She'd defend the home against anything. If she truly had abandoned her post, she mused, she'd have earned this punishment, and worse. She still wondered if perhaps Alpha knew more about that than he was letting on. Did he in fact know why no dog was there to help stop the coyotes? Did he know what had really happened? And if so, why had he gone through with this? She didn't trust the half-wolf, Sweet admitted inwardly, but I'm not at all sure why. A branch cracked behind her and she leaped to her feet, hackles high. But instantly she recognized the two dogs. Fiery was unmistakable, with his square head and his massive body. The moon's white and black coat gleamed in the early dawn. The new mother dog leaned weakly against her mate's flank, but as they grew closer to Sweet, she left Fiery's side to lick Sweet's ear and nuzzle her neck. Thank you for what you did, Sweet, murmured Mood. I'm so sorry I got you into trouble, but Fiery came to me in time to see the last of his pups born. I don't know if I'd have the strength otherwise. I can't thank you enough, rumbled Fiery. Sigh of pride in his eyes looked as if it would never dim. Our pups don't have names yet, but one day soon they will, and I hope to grow up to be as loyal and brave as you, Sweet. The two dogs' words made Sweet's gut twist, and her heart warm with gratitude. She returned their fond licks. Thank you, both of you. I'm only glad I could help. You helped more than we can say, Moon told her, and you didn't deserve this punishment. We both know you'd never have left your post and abandoned the camp. She took a breath as if to say more, then shut her jaws. We have to go back to the pups, said Fiery softly, nuzzling his mate. But remember what we owe you, Sweet, because we won't forget. Sweet watched them go, vanishing into the shadows. The warmth inside her was kindling to a fierce glow of protectiveness. No, I'll never let my friends down again. Just as the sun-dog was rising, his light glinting fiercely through the trees, Fiery returned, relieving Sweet of her watch and telling her kindly but firmly to get some sleep. Gratefully, Sweet accepted, slinking exhaustingly back into the camp. Her eyes and ears drooped, and her paws felt like boulders, but it seemed she wasn't to get any sleep just yet. Alpha was summoning the pack into the clearing, his tail tapping impatiently on the rock where he sat. As he caught sight of her approaching, he gave a low bark, and every dog turned, pricking their ears. Hear this, dogs of my pack. Sweet's punishment is over. She has forgiven her error, and she will rejoin the hunting dogs today. Just behind him there was a low snarl. And Alpha half turned. Beta stood there, her muscles trembling with anger and her hackles bristling. Alpha said nothing. He kept his yellow stare level on Beta till she was forced to meet it. The red dog's tail lowered, and she fell silent. That's settled then, growled Alpha. Every dog go to your duties. Sweet, get some sleep. You'll need it before you hunt. Without the refreshment of a brief sleep, Sweet didn't think she'd have managed to catch any prey at all. The hunt that day was long and hard, and as she returned to her den afterward, she felt hunger gnaw at her belly. The sting of it reminded her that she hadn't eaten anything since before her long night's guard duty. But the ache in her muscles was a good one. She was a part of the team again, a good and hard-working dog, a valuable member of the pack. She stopped at the entrance to her den and sniffed. Food? Happiness made her light-headed. Fiery and Moon had left her a rabbit from the pack's earlier meal. It's good to have a pack, she thought. It's good to have friends. She could barely even wait to give thanks to the forest dog. Falling on the rabbit, she pinned it with her forepaws and began to tear at it, gulping chunks of it down. The feeling of warm food in her empty belly was bliss, chasing away all the fears and worries and sadness of the night before. For long, ravenous moments, Sweet didn't even see the shadow that fell across her. Only when Beta's howl rang out above her did she jerk her head up, startled. Sweet has eaten the common prey. She has deprived the pack and its pups, and filled her own belly. Sweet stared up at the red dog, her jaw loose, dizzy for an instant with disbelief and bewilderment. What? Then, as she caught the vicious glint in Beta's eyes, she realized. Beta left this rabbit here. It was Beta. Sweet shuffled hastily back from the torn prey, but she knew it was too late. Her mouth was bloody and stained, and still full of rabbit meat. She could only crouch, trembling, on the ground as Alpha stalked toward her, followed by her packmates. The taste of the meat in her jaws was like acrid dust. She couldn't even swallow it. Sweet. Alpha's bark was thunderous. This is the worst offense a pack member can commit. Alpha Eye, her whine was so hoarse she could barely hear it herself. If you really did this, Sweet, Alpha growled, you will be scarred both as punishment and as a sign to every dog of what you are. What do you have to say for yourself? How do you respond to Beta's charge? The Half-Wolf's yellow's eyes were entirely unreadable. Sweet stared into them, transfixed with horror, searching for a trace of pity or a trace of doubt. I won't be scarred for something I didn't do. I will not let it happen. But how can I stop it? I have no witnesses to speak for me. Beta planned this. She planned it perfectly from the start. She could spring to a pause right now, she thought, turn and run. No dog here could catch her if she was determined. She was the fastest of all of them. But then she could never come back. Never. Finally turning her eyes away from Alpha's, she met Fiery's steady, clear gaze. Fiery wants me to deny it. He wants me to prove myself. He wants to know he and Moon were right to trust me. Something churned in Sweet's belly, and a spark of fire flared in her heart. I will not be the dog who runs. Not this time. I will be the dog who stands her ground. Sweet raised herself to a pause. She stood full square, her legs so rigid she was afraid they would tremble. But she gazed once more, this time with defiance, into Alpha's eyes. Alpha, dogs of my pack, she barked, and her voice rang out clear and strong. I reject Beta's charge. She is lying. I will prove myself, here and now, in combat. She turned to the road dog and gazed at her icily. I challenge Beta.